Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, the song. I get to do the song.
Board games is what we're talking about. Board games.
It's what
I'm
we're
not
talking
gonna
about.
shout.
Oh yeah, you have a
I
rhyme.
am starting off this morning with a little bit of singing, and over there, and hopefully, and thankfully, their screen is not dark. It is a person known as Mark.
Hey.
And here you could hope, that they come from the place, the company known as Tabletopia.
Yes.
And
yeah, what rhymes with?
You could think that maybe in time I could make a better rhyme. Board games is what I'm talking about. Board games. I'm not going to shout. Hey!
Just hands. I love it.
So, hello,
Hi.
Saints, and I absolutely agree. Dancing guests are the best, and that also rhymes. I should have used that one.
Oh
and
no!
Good morning, Alan.
It's live, right?
Lovely to see you. And I am Bez. It is, if you're in the USA or New Zealand, it's approximately bedtime. I mean, it's a bit early, but it also keeps the alliteration going. So it's the Bezzy Bedtime Board Game Blether. And today we are going to delve into Tabletopia. It's going to be a bit of an intro with the one known as Mark Harris. And so I'll just pop that over there. And before we start off anything, if you give like a 30-second teaser of what Tabletopia is, and
absolutely. So Tabletopia is a digital board game sandbox where you can play your favorite board games. There's no automation involved, so basically we just give you the components in a digital play space, and you get to play with it with other people like you're across the table from them. So you can move cubes, you can throw cards at people, you can play completely correctly, completely wrong, but it's all up to you. And we're accessible from the web, from Steam, and from your phone. So check us out.
And so, yeah, that is absolutely the way it is. And before we get stuck into all that, let me talk about a brilliant thing. Here's a little thing which is brilliant. Now, there are many brilliant things. One of the brilliant things is birthdays. And Alan Outson says happy birthdays to myself and Xate, because my birthday is 13th of August. And over in Australia right now, is it the 15th?
It's the 14th.
Okay. So it's the evening of the 14th.
It's the evening of the 14th. So I've missed your birthday by a day. But belated, happy birthday, Bez.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. I didn't bring you a present, unfortunately.
Oh, it's all good. You can help me get started
got this lovely dice decal sticker. I can send you that your way. This is actually from Lively Gold. She's a brilliant pin designer, and we just got this Kickstarter arrive, and so you can see some of her pins here. They're gorgeous, little D20 dice, really, really stunning. We've also got the blue one here. I didn't really come on to promote her, but I love her stuff, and so I think it's something you should definitely check out.
Sorry, what's their name?
Lively Gold. You can see the
name
right at the top there.
LYGOLD. Oh yeah.
Yes.
No. Oh, that's.
Oh no! Everyone has to stare at my Band-Aid. I'm sorry.
So, thank you very much, Bray, and hello, and hi for dropping in. It is exactly what Alan Outson says, because you stretch from, I think it's definitely plus 12 to minus 12, but there's one where it's either plus 14 or minus 14. It's either Baker Island or the other place that I kept talking about a few weeks ago. What's the other side of night?
Good night.
There's a kind of, anyway, the point is that today lasts 50 hours, if you count it.
Yeah.
So,
so it's still your birthday somewhere in the world.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, amazing.
My birthday.
Wow. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much. Anyway, so we didn't just want to talk about brilliant things, did we? We had one more brilliant thing.
Yes. Yes, we did. And that is bad movies.
Oh, and this is kind of like B movies, like kind of trashy films.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean it's movies that are it's movies that are trashy, but it's also movies that just you can see had so much work and so much effort put into them, and it got through all of those processes. I mean, I used to work in film and television. I know how hard it is, and like you've got hundreds of people working on it, you've got lots of eyes on it, and still at the end of the day, no one said, "Hey, what are we doing? Why? What is this? This is a terrible version of Artemis Fowl."
Oh my gosh!
Oh my goodness! Did you watch it?
Really sounds like a film geek.
Yeah, I'd sort of slide that under one of my cards.
Have you seen? Do you know the Graph Geek? Dave Gorman.
Dave Gorman. Yes, yeah.
So like they talk about being above the geek thing. Good episode. Everyone go watch it. Season 4, episode 1. It's now available on YouTube. Dave Gorman. Right. But the point is that with films, if you want to be a film geek, it's not just enough to watch a bunch of films, right?
Yeah.
You need to actually have studied it at school. Same with me. I mean, I love board games, but am I a board game geek? Well, at the point where I made a game, I think you probably say yes, but it's all multi-dimensional. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm certainly, ironic as it might seem, I'm definitely more of a party game geek than I am I'm definitely not at all a virtual game geek.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who's to say who's not and who is? I feel like gatekeeping doesn't really advance anything, and I think if people are just enjoying it and people are expressing passion about a hobby, then that's all there needs to be. And you can be a geek about it if you want. You are a board game geek, I say, Bez.
Yeah, like generally for board game geek, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
yeah,
I think from the time that I rediscovered it in 2008 and found the main Board Game Geek website, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start playing as many of these board games as I can. That's pretty much making it my specialist interest.
Yeah.
But bad films. Summarize 3 reasons why bad films are brilliant.
Oh my gosh. Okay. 1, great drinking fodder. I mean, if you've ever seen Mystery Science Theater 3000, you know how much you can just riff on those terrible films and how much they are good prompts for just being like really fun with your friends. Number 2, they're a great way to connect with people because you can bond over this terrible experience. While we've been in lockdown, our friends and I have been doing video stream, simultaneous watching videos and just sort of like going back and forth and having fun with that. And I think it's brilliant. And the third reason is just that they're fun. They can be campy. They can be really like silly and stupid. And some bad films know they're bad films and some don't. And it's kind of like that fun balancing act of figuring out whether they know it or not. So yeah, I think bad films, brilliant thing.
Yeah. They surely are. We'll go into that for the questionably quick questions in just a moment. But I would like to ask you, because this is partially meant to be about board games, what are board games you've been playing? And maybe that's via Tabletopia or another thing. And yeah, with a question which I will definitely ask you during the quick questions.
Yeah.
But what games have you been playing recently? Let us know 1 or 2 that you've been enjoying.
Yeah, the most recent game that I played was Thunderstone Quest. Actually, just got my giant Kickstarter order of like everything a few weeks ago, and we finally cracked it open and got into it. It's I mean, it's a reiteration of Thunderstone, then Thunderstone Advanced, and now Thunderstone Quest. And it's really cool. It's a deck builder that sort of builds off Dominion, but it has a sort of pull and release tension because you can either go to the village or go to the dungeon. If you go into the village, you're building your deck up. If you go to the dungeon for your turn, then you're executing your deck and you're sort of testing its limits and seeing if you've actually built something that can get you XP and treasure. So I really like that tension of deciding where you are in the game and how ready you are.
Your... I mean, I've only played the original Thunderstone, where going to the dungeon was basically just a case of evaluating your hand.
Yeah.
And then, okay, do I have enough numbers to go into the dungeon? So it sounds like now there's a bit more uncertainty about that.
No, sorry. I guess there's less uncertainty, but it's there are. I mean, there's a bit of uncertainty in about if I go to the dungeon and I execute this thing and some of my cards let me draw more cards that'll just tip me over the line. That is a bit of the uncertainty that you gamble with. But no, it is about sort of knowing the numbers in your hand and then executing from that, which I don't know. I found it really fun. We've only played once, but we're really excited to play again and play
like
all
kind of an achievement, like saying, okay, now your deck's good enough to do this. And it felt like me that the original Thunderstone was very much, I mean, it adds on a thematic nature to Dominion for sure.
Yeah.
The original which I played, it felt very much like, okay, now once your deck's good enough, everyone's just going to go to the dungeon for like 70% of the rest of the game.
Sure.
Does that kind of still hold true in the later ones?
I mean, it really depends. And again, only one game playthrough. But what we found is that you have to strike a balance because every time you go to the dungeon, you'll end up getting wounded, and this really slows you down. So if you've never played it before, when you take wounds from enemies, that affects your card draws every turn. So you go to the village to heal, and so you sort of have to seesaw back and forth and figure out the best time to actually stay in the dungeon and keep on pushing, or to go back to the village, heal up, and go back even stronger. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it's nice to have a game that kind of switches things on you and offers you a bit of variation, so you actually get a bit of a ludonarrative flow, if you know what I mean. Bits of, I'm feeling different. I'm feeling more powerful on turn 20 than I did on turn 2.
100%.
Now, I played a couple of games last night. We played games online. Oh my gosh, it was such a night. Afterwards, I kind of might have, it was my birthday. I'm going to say about that. What did we? Oh, we played Freemel. So we played twice, which is a game about making words, and I have the sheets here. And I scored 25, and Tom Cauldron scored 26 out of a possible 30.
Ooh,
and so that was slightly disappointing because I was like, I want to get the maximum score.
Yeah.
So then we played it again, and I alone managed to get 30 points.
How do you make words in this game? How does that work?
So Freemel, it's only 1, 2, or 3 letter words.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the L deck. You start off choosing one of those letters to be on the line, 1 or 3 lines, and then you move left to right. And so the words are or, I, on, X, saw, N, O, and bio.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make 3 one-letter words, which for me were O, and I. 3 2-letter words, which were N, on, and X, and 3 3-letter words, which were or, saw, and bio.
Cool.
And if you manage to make 3 of each, using 18 cards, because that's letters. And so it's basically all which letter do you choose, and which of the 3 lines do you place it on.
Oh, that's really cool.
Of your words. That is literally the only decision. When I So it's fairly simple to get going, but the fact that it's complex enough that there were 4 of us playing. All 4 of us had played a lot of words games before, but I was still the only one to manage to get 30, which I felt quite chuffed about. And it was my birthday, so hey.
Yeah, I'm sure you won, and not at all people let you win.
I mean, it's not a thing that people can really let you in because it is true multiplayer solitaire, similar to number 9.
Yeah.
But and Alan Outen does say lots of things are a great game, but doesn't say everything is a great game. I'm just going to point that out.
Okay, then that's a solid endorsement right there.
So, and I have not paid Alan Outen any money.
Have you seen the word game on Kickstarter now, Val? It's it's about. Have you seen it? So it's about coming up with you're presented a card and you have to figure out a single word that has vowels in between each consonant, but the vowels have been removed. And there's only one correct answer, or there's only a few correct answers for every word. It looks really fun.
Yeah, I saw this. Was about to try and find it. I couldn't find it in the
VWL. Yeah.
No, looks like very much a quiz game. I think there were about 400 something answers, but it's how quickly you can get them.
Yeah.
It felt. I mean, I think I didn't look enough into it to kind of say much about it. I don't feel comfortable saying much about it.
That's okay. Yeah,
no, I'm just not going to comment on it.
Sure. No, we can move on. I just yeah. I think word games can be very hit or miss. There are some that are fantastic. Like Three Mail sounds really fun. I really like Wordsy as well by Gil Hoover, Formal Ferret. That one's fun. I think
yeah, Prolix, which was the precursor to Wordsy, incredibly similar. Just Wordsy was the redesign, but I played Prolix, and that was the thing that originally inspired Wibble, which went on to be a game that spawned the entire L deck.
Cool.
But the other game we played was not an L deck game last night. We also played 2 rounds of How Much Money, which I believe it's right here. Alex won. That was How Much Money, and basically you guess how much money it would take other people to do things, and we decided that I would pay money for the right to have a digital score marker to do a mildly annoying thing for the novelty. That's what we learned. Oh, good. Talking about Alex, there we go. Alex just talking how you knew me better than I knew myself.
Oh, so very good.
Why you won that game.
That makes sense. Well, it sounds like you had a really good birthday.
It was really nice fun with a couple of people from here, and anyway, it was a lovely time. And then I went off to watch some more stuff and drink some alcoholic beverages, and just watched some trashy TV until the wee hours. But it was a lovely thing, and that overall was definitely, speaking of that, was my recent highlight, just that togetherness. And I had 5 minutes where Tom was screaming things while I was drawing this all with my eyes closed. This is meant to be,
like a dragon?
A bunch of unicorns. So that's the unicorn, mermaid, and all. This is all with my eyes closed. That's my excuse.
Oh my goodness.
And then this was also with my eyes closed, but it's some kind of face. This way around.
Wait. Who is that?
It's Tom Cauldron.
Oh, good.
But just having people around, having, even though I was physically on my own, it felt very much like a nice birthday. And so, and we've got news special highlight. Getting an Amazon delivery that someone didn't order and opening them for their birthday. Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
And
That's going to be amazing.
What is your recent highlight? Recent highlights? Living life and seeing the sides. Recent highlights.
Recent highlights. Oh my goodness. A recent highlight. I was not prepared for this segment. You know, it's really because right now we're in lockdown in our state in Australia. But I think what's been really like keeping us sane and together is our beautiful pet rats, Ludo, Max, and Chester.
Aww.
And I love them oh so much. And they're growing and growing every day. And they are all sleeping right now, so I sadly can't bring any out to play. But they get so big, and they're really curious, and they scamper around and they sniff. And oh, Phoebe's just seeing if someone wants to come out. Are you sure Ludo is okay being picked up?
Probably not.
All right. Hang on. Here's Ludo. He's the white one. Oh, here he is. Oh, come on. Hi. Say hi to everyone. Oh, my goodness.
This is Mark's pet rats that we're looking at.
Yeah, this is Ludo.
Mark is giving their pet rats little bits of a cuddle.
Yeah. Oh, here's a treat for him.
Do you know Michael Langford?
I don't, sorry.
Oh, I assumed that you were friends. Just the person said, oh, it's that Mark guy. Maybe they just meant that. Don't know if they meant that they know you well, or maybe that they've heard of you.
Oh, Michael.
Or heard of you just via my write-up. But yeah, this is Mark.
Yeah.
And Rat.
Hi. And Rat. Rat has run away now.
And Phoebe in the background.
And Phoebe in the background somewhere.
So that was our recent highlights. Now we start moving on and shifting over to the main topic, which is Tabletopia, an intro to Tabletopia. And I am going to finish my login process live on camera, selecting when to show my things, because starting very much from base one. And everyone in the comments, feel free to comment or ask questions, and if you like it, follow. But we met. Oh,
we did. Michael, I'm so sorry. We did meet at PAX. Yes, at PAX Oz.
I was about to think, oh, is this a troll?
No, Michael's Australian tabletop. He's Sorry, it's it's been quite a while. I haven't seen real people in a long time.
But yeah, I'm glad that there's some love there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I was so I hope that you're having a good day there, and we are going to get into the questionably quick questions.
Ooh, hey, I need my game face on for this one.
Are you ready?
I am.
Okay. Well, did you have breakfast this morning?
Late breakfast.
What time?
Oh my goodness. At about... No, I guess it was lunch at that point, like 2.
So, what did you eat for your breaking your fast of the day?
I just made some baked chicken and some mushroom and spinach.
Okay, so not even breakfast themed.
No, not really. Not even breakfast.
What time did you wake up?
Oh my goodness. What time did I wake up? 11?
Okay.
10:30? 10:30.
Okay, what's the last thing you ate? Have you had dinner?
Have I had dinner? Have we had dinner? No. I had some chocolate just before.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had some Malteser chocolate. It was really good.
Maltesers. Okay, so presumably Maltesers are the things that we're familiar with. Little bolts of malt and bubbliness, and then chocolates on the outside, right?
Yes, that's 100% what they are. They're just
do Maltesers melt a lot in Australia?
Oh, yes, they do.
Okay, I imagine you needing to keep in the convenience store, do you store chocolate? I mean, Australian shops normally store chocolate in a warm fridge?
Oh no. I mean, they handle it. There's air conditioning. I mean, we have air conditioning.
Okay, so it's all about the air conditioning in the shops.
That's right.
Okay, speaking of food, iced coffee or hot tea?
Ooh, iced coffee.
Best thing to eat or drink whilst playing games?
Cheese.
What's the last thing you watched?
Last thing I watched, Star Trek: Next Generation.
Okay, what's a great bad film?
A great bad film. A great bad film is The Room, which I think is a classic that everyone has probably seen at this point.
And yeah, books or podcasts?
Podcasts, all the way podcasts.
What's the last one you listened to?
Radiolab. I'm making my way through my backlog of Radiolab episodes.
Last color played?
Last color played? I played blue, but not by choice.
Oof. What's your favorite color to play?
Green. It's got to be green.
Okay,
I'll take green.
Lots of fans of green here.
Yeah.
Cards or cubes?
Cards.
Wooden meeple or plastic figurine?
Oh, wooden maple, all the way.
Art or rules?
Rules. But that's a whole question. But it's a quick question, so I can't.
3 games that you enjoy right now?
Ooh. Escape Tales, Monumental, and Silver and Gold.
Okay. Do you have Tabletop Simulator?
I do.
Have you played a lot of Board Game Arena?
A little bit.
Have you played that Cards.io?
Which one?
Cards.io.
No, I haven't. No.
What? Have you played Screen Time?
No.
Okay. Do you own a Tabletopia account?
I do.
Yeah, I would be a bit worried if the answer.
Yeah, me too.
What's your favorite game on Tabletopia?
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. There's so many good ones. I really like cartographers. I just think it's such a really easy way to pick it up and play it.
Okay, I'll give you a chance to drink that by talking for quite a bit over this next question. And what is your favorite game that's from Cosmos, let's say?
My favorite game from Cosmos. Let's see. Well, actually, you know what? The Crew is phenomenal. So Eric Martin did a BGG post about it all of last year at some point, and Phoebe and I looked at each other and we said, "Oh, this is going to be nominated for Spiel. We just know it." So we ordered it from German Amazon before it was even announced as English, and then we're like, "Yes, this is fantastic. We love that game so much." And now Cosmos has picked it up for international, and it's great.
And yeah, congratulations to the Crew for winning Spiel and yeah, everything there. Now, I would like to say, do you have a board game shop that you would like to give a shout out to?
Board game shop. There is an online store in Australia that I am quite fond of, adventgames.com.au. The guy who runs it, Dean, is lovely, and he's very involved in the community, and he is always working to get more games into Australia and find those little niche games that aren't really meant to come here, and he'll just import them if he can for people. So I'd definitely check out adventgames.com.au.
Advent Games. And a small correction from the audience.
Kenner,
Thanks for
excuse
this.
me. Kenner,
it was
not
the Kenner Spiel this Yaris.
Apologies.
My mind's been in a lot of places recently, and I am slightly tired. Backstage, just to let you know, normally so the last question is going to be, what's a typical day been like for you over the past few months?
Yes.
just to give a quick explanation, normally I would get up around I've been getting up naturally around 8 o'clock, even though I set my alarm for 8:50, which is quite nice.
Yep.
And then maybe I get up at 8 o'clock, maybe I read a little bit on the internet, do a tiny bit of social media, or look at some photos, or read an article or something, or read a comic. And that's a nice way to get up in the morning, I find. And then every other day, I try to do a wee bit of exercise. And then get to the shower. 9:30, I'm here, and I say to the guest, "Hey, here's the link and everything." But today it was like, "Oh my gosh, 9:50! I just got up. Quickly shared a link with Mark, get myself my water, and do my morning urination."
I'm glad you clarified when that happens.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I have to do that before the stream, because otherwise it would be...
Otherwise, it's a stream of a stream. Yes, I understand.
Yes. Anyway, let's... So that is the end of the questionably quick questions with a tangent from me today. I do apologize for that. But let's, at least with regards to you. So now, having met you, let's talk about you, your relationship with Tabletopia, and what is a typical workday like for you over the past month?
Yeah. So with Tabletopia, I recently came on board about April-ish as their community manager. And so for me, that involves working with publishers like Cosmos, and also reaching out to content creators like yourself, people in the community, managing the social media, basically just sort of being the face for the company, and also helping people get used to the platform and understand how accessible and easy the platform is. So for my past couple of months, my days have been to sort of, it's weird, right? Because I'm in Australia and I'm working for a company based in Europe, and they primarily serve people in the US. So here I am working in 3 different time zones. So I've actually now sort of shifted my day where I wake up at 11 or 12, and then I go to bed at maybe 3 or 4 a.m. I know it's weird, right? But it kind of works out for me. And okay, because I sort of get to bleed into a little bit of UK time, a little bit of US time, and I can catch the tail end of the other of them, and then I can sort of work through it. So for me, my day starts, I wake up, I go for a walk with Phoebe, and we'll grab our morning coffee, and I normally get a Jaffle as well. Do you know what a Jaffle is, actually?
I mean, I just assumed it was like a Jaffa cake.
No. Gosh. So, okay, yeah, I realized this when I say this to Americans and UK people. No one knows what a Jaffle is. So a Jaffle, it's a toasted sandwich, but it's put in a sandwich press that compresses the ends together, so it's an enclosed sandwich. It's like a calzone sandwich.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really good.
So basically just in a baguette?
Kind of, yeah, a baguette, but the ends are sealed. So because it's a because the sandwich press actually squashes the bread together, it bakes it like seals in the fillings, and then you've got this filled calzone sandwich. A Breville? What is a Breville?
Is a Breville like a? I mean,
that's an espresso machine.
This is like when you heat seal a bag, except using bread.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, like a toasty, sandwich makers that heat and toast and seal the bread. Yes. Yeah. And Breville is a brand name. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
And so is it Nikki from Cosmos? I want to say. But so Cosmos Games UK says a Breville sandwich maker is the whole thing, and potentially we need a whole episode on the Australian language.
Oh my goodness, No, mate, that's a whole bag of koalas there. You don't want to get into that.
Okay. So it's kind of from a proper sandwich maker.
Yeah.
You've got your normal 2 slices of bread. It's not a baguette or anything fancy. It's just
2 slices of bread.
You put it in, and then you call it a jaffle. Okay.
Call it a jaffle. It squishes them together, and it's filled with filling. So we do. Thank you, Michael. Yes, Breville.
Yeah. Sorry, Facebook is about. I think I worked out it's about 6 or 7 seconds behind the Twitch, but I don't want to force anyone to move over. It's a marginally better experience on Twitch with less lag, which is twitch.com/stuffbybez. But keep
TV.
And you're very encouraged to watch and hopefully enjoy the show wherever you are.
Absolutely. I think it's twitch.tv/stuffbybez. I
think twitch.coms can also work.
Does it work now? It used to not work.
Cosmos, thanks to someone who did actually do me a massive favor to say, hey, at some point you're going to get robots. Don't let everyone share links. And they were absolutely right, because fairly soon I've gotten a lot less trolls recently. But I've gotten a lot more robots, which is interesting kind of dynamic. I thought that the trolls, if anything, would have increased.
Huh. Well, there you go.
But yeah, it's just all robots these days, which thank you, Xate, for helping me. It's just all robots these days.
Oh, no, I can hear you twice. Is that meant to be happening? Oh, there it's gone.
No, it wasn't. Sorry. I was just going in, and I was going to try and make Nikki VIP, because I feel like I like Nikki and Cosmos Games UK. There we go. I'm going to make you my 5th VIP.
Wow.
So now I've got Alan Alton and Xate are my moderators, and they are like favorite people. And then Jess is also one of my favorite people, although they don't watch anymore, but they are one of my best friends.
Oh, brilliant.
Odin, publisher of this, Cosmos. And my favorite Cosmos game, by the way, is Doodles, I've decided. Although
cool. I
don't think that's kind of actually being distributed anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a bit sad. And of course, CD and Alex. But that means that you will be able to post the links yourself as well.
Oh, very
good. Oh, hello. That is Rolkus, who wants a jaffle.
Oh my goodness, you do want a jaffle. The one that I get from my store is like a tomato, basil, and brie cheese jaffle, and it's so good. They also do like a mac and cheese one with like a jalapeno sauce, and it's really nice. Jaffle's great.
I mean, how did we even get onto jaffle? I feel like there's some people who kind of rein in things, and I'm not one of those people. So if there's someone else who's kind of a bit, hey, we're going to talk about whatever, then this show just goes off the rails, and then I have to
me to rein it in?
Like the voice of authority and sensibleness, which is just not my normal role at all. Anyway, so you were talking about
my day.
What you actually do for Tabletopia.
Oh yeah, sorry. Get up. Sorry, my job at Tabletopia. I was getting to that. Yeah, we start with our morning coffee, and then we get a jaffle, and then we move on. And then I come back and I sit down, and I just kind of like I said before, I work with community management, and I contact publishers, I handle the social media, and it's kind of a nice job. We also stream on the Tabletopia Twitch channel. I need to have you on there one day. Although you're streaming nearly every day, so I feel like I'm never going to catch you at a good time.
Nah, it's I've got I mean, like, that time with Bestie, I streamed like from 10 till like 11:30, and then from 1 till 8:30. That was like yeah, 3-day thing pretty much. I ended up doing
Oh, yeah.
26 hours over the 3 days, although that was just a one-off event. But honestly, the thing is, I would, once I familiarized with myself with this, and just so I've got a little bit of yeah, we're going to keep going off on tangents, aren't we? So how much of,
I think that's
so
kind of
is
what's
your job
happening.
basically just telling people about Tabletopia and being like, hey, remember, Tabletopia is a thing? I mean, surely at this point, people know, okay, look,
Sure.
I don't mean to insult you. I don't mean to have you on and then talk all about your competitor.
Oh, let's do this.
And
Let's go.
that's not what we're doing. But like, you know, there's basically two big things that do a very similar thing: Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's will this be a record? No, I don't like talk. Okay, Mark has said that they're okay to talk for a while. I would need to head off at 12ish for sure.
Oh, you do have to head off.
Carl
Okay.
dot Tom would 12ish. I've been to Tabletopia Gold for a couple of months now and haven't played a single game yet. Oh wow, that doesn't sound like.
I mean, thank you, but we do encourage you to play some games. You're more than welcome to, especially with your gold.
Personally, I mean, I'm going to say I like my simplicity, okay? I like this. I'm just going to give a shout out to Board Game Arena, right?
Go.
And so the nice thing about Board Game Arena is that you just move your thing and then it clicks into place, and you never have like a big pile of meatballs that's toppling over. And it's like, why? What's the point on having this big physics simulating thing anyway? What's the point?
Yeah, I get that, and I you know, like I use Tabletopia and I use Board Game Arena for different things, right? So for me, what I find with Board Game Arena, I'll hop on there if I just want to find a lobby and just play a game and just like click, and it's kind of like reality TV for me, where I just go there and just the things move and they happen. But with Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator, what I find is that because you have to manipulate the pieces, because you have to move around in the space, it's a really nice, and especially when you pair it with Discord or Google Hangouts or another form of voice chat, video chat, it's really a much more interpersonal way to play, because you actually have to manipulate the pieces. It feels closer to being at the table with friends, and I think that's the really cool thing about it.
So it's that kind of design, I can't remember the word for it, where it kind of simulates something that doesn't necessarily have a reason for being there, but has an emotional thing. It's like, you know, on a screen, when there's a button, the idea that a button should be raised. And Xate, I hope you have a lovely shopping trip, and yeah, lots of love, Xate, and all the best. But yeah, talking got, you know how raise button. So if you've got a little 3D shadow, it's like, okay, that's clearly a button. It looks like a button. But now we've got people who, on the bottom of this screen, on the side, none of these have 3D shadows. If I were to show you this StreamYard screen, which I have done in the past, are basically all grayed out. They are put into their own little drop shadowed tab on the bottom, but it's just like another little tab on the side, and there's no drop shadows. There's nothing that shows, hey, this is a physical thing. But still, having something like that, having something that looks a little bit like parchment, it harkens back to it, and it can give it a bit of usability. Although that's got a different purpose. I'm just wondering if you're saying that there's something there that doesn't offer a purpose in and of itself, but it's just because it reminds us of real board games that's the emotional advantage to it?
So, I mean, I guess there's two facets to it from the design perspective, and I mean
Oh,
the
and sorry,
yeah,
Andrew,
yes,
January's that skeuomorphism. That's the word I was
skeuomorphism.
looking for, Dan.
There it
Thank
is.
you.
Yes, thank you. Skeuomorphism. I'm gonna note that down. Yes, I think there's two facets to it, and I think the honest answer, from the perspective of the design team who made it, is that when they created the platform, it's a lot easier both for us and for you if it's a sandbox where there's no coding required. You can just upload the cards and then plop them into the space rather than having to make sure that this card follows this rule when you drop it into this space. So I think that it's meant to be easier as a tool to use for designers as well, which I think is the real design intent behind it. But on a more philosophical level, on an emotional level, I do think that there is something about the table presence that is offered. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it was intentional. Definitely, I wouldn't say it was intentional to omit automation from the perspective of trying to recreate some kind of emotional bond. But in terms of what it does achieve as a side result, yeah, I would say that's absolutely there.
I mean, certainly, I was talking to Norbert about coding something on Board Game Arena, and Alan Outson and Alex were saying that they were interested in that process, and it sounds like a real challenge. Like, for sure, the game needs to be done. If the game is in flux, it's like, yeah, what's the point in doing all this coding? Now, for something like the L deck, where, okay, you've got 48 cards, and I know that Aquasulis, Alex, just cuts up a sheet of images that I gave them, and I've not even... No, I did play it once in Tabletop Simulator, I lie, but yeah, they just... My understanding is that it's one of those things, like, if you don't know how to do it, it's tricky, and you need to learn how to do it, and that might take you a day. It depends how hard a time you have with technical stuff. But if it's a deck of cards, once you know how to do it, so you import it as a single file, and then you tell the computer like how many things. And I assume it's a very similar thing on Tabletopia.
On Tabletopia, if every card is its own image, you can then just bulk upload those cards and then upload one card back, and it'll create you a bunch of cards out of that.
Okay, what if you had access to a print and play file where one image was 16 cards? Would you have to cut that up into different images?
Yeah, you could cut that up, and so you would just get...
Or is there any option to say, hey, there's four cards long ways, 4 cards down ways, now you do the work?
No, I don't believe so. Not on our current importer. But yeah, that's to make every card its own object. But yeah, that is something we could look into. I definitely think that would be a nice addition. I might write that down, actually.
Yeah, because I think that's something that made it easier on Tabletop Simulator for Alex and Xate to do it. Because I was just like, okay, here's the file that's the print and play. But certainly once you've got the final files for publication, that's going to be a lot more similar to the files that are required for Tabletopia. Basically, what I'm understanding, okay, let's lump for a moment Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator into one bucket, and then Board Game Arena into another bucket, and cards.io, which I know you've not played, into a third bucket. So Board Game Arena, you need to program stuff. You need to kind of... I think it's only like finished games that are allowed on the platform anyway. But I could ask for alphabetical to go onto the platform, that is a game that would totally work. On someone should totally do that, and I would love you for it. Hint, hint, Alex or Alan Alton. But if you're working on something, that's not a place where you can do things. Now, you've got cards.io where you can drag and drop things. So you kind of set up, okay, here's a little space where the cards can be. Here's a place where the cubes can be. And it's very iconographic. So it's more clicking, putting up and down numbers. And then Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator in their own bucket, they are physics simulators. It's just kind of, here's some 3D objects, and are kind of going to operate vaguely. Like, I mean, if you actually wanted to throw some cards or play a dexterity game, it's incredibly different, and you can't really play a dexterity game and expect it to bear any resemblance to the dexterity game that you would play in real life.
No, and we don't have dexterity games on our platform for that reason.
Yeah, but yeah, so we've got why do you want the physics? I guess we've already talked about.
Yeah,
we've talked about why you might not want to program stuff, but why? What's the best reason for the physics?
Do you mean the physics, or do you mean the automation?
What do you mean by automation?
So, like, you know how, for example, if you go on Board Game Arena, and let's say you play Carcassonne, you'll slide a tile in, and then it'll snap into the...
no, I meant, what's the reason for the physics? I mean, from Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, I think the honest answer there is that they're both... Tabletop Simulator is built on the Unreal Engine, and I think we're built on Unity. And these are just programming languages that our code base just sort of, these were originally designed for video games. And so that's sort of, the physics are there as a side effect of the coding platforms they're built on.
And so when Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator, the differences are relatively minor. And we've got someone, unfortunately, in the comments says Tabletopia just does not run well on their machine. It makes it crash.
That's fair, yeah.
Which, I don't know if that's something that they could get in touch with. These are the specs, and see if there's anything that can be done to continue improving it. Like, how much in flux is Tabletopia? Let me ask that.
Oh, I mean, we're always developing and we're always building. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to access Tabletopia. So any modern browser will allow games to play on it. There's also the Steam application, which does demand higher quality graphics. I know that a lot of people, their older laptops struggle with the Steam version when it works for the web version. So, I mean, and we have 15 people on staff, so we're always developing and always shaping up, and we're making new tools available as we go. And I mean, this year's been crazy, right? Because of the global pandemic, we doubled our server capacity once, and then doubled it again on top of that. So I mean, we've gone crazy, big this year in terms of the load we've been trying to handle. A lot of it's been managed.
Do you have your reports by any chance?
Sorry?
Do you have your user reports? Like, would you be able and willing to share, for example, how many users there were in June, like, 2020 versus 2019 versus 2018? When did it start?
Gosh, so it was actually kickstarted in 2014. So it's 6 years old now.
And when did it actually properly start? Like,
I believe it was kickstarted, and then the full launch was about a year and a half later. from memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is the stats like something that we could get access to, or would that take too much time?
So the stats aren't publicly available, but I'm more than happy to share them. I don't have them in front of me, and I would have to kind of pull them up. But let's chat a bit while I do that.
Let me talk about the first option. So the first option when you try to sign up.
Yeah.
So designer basic and player gold. So one difference between Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia is that Tabletopia is sorts of free, or at least there is a free option, and there's these free options, or so it's a subscriber model. And from the Tabletop Simulator perspective, if you like paying a bit of money and then that's all you paid, then great. For this version, you pay a bit of money and then you keep paying it. But it does mean that if you only want to, try it out, if you just want to play test a few games, then you don't need anything other than the free versions ever. Is that correct?
That's right. So 85% of our catalog is free to play. So if you just get that bronze player account, then you can play 85% of our catalog right out of the gate. Yeah.
Yeah, so games simultaneously, is that kind of because, hey, someone might take a week to take their move kind of thing?
That's right. So you can have multiple games open simultaneously. And the beauty of that is you can actually just, you can leave your web browser. You can just close your web browser while you're playing a game, and then you can hop back into Tabletopia and it'll be in your simultaneous games that are open. So it's a nice way to either play, maybe taking turns one by one over the course of weeks, or maybe you're 2 hours into a 3-hour game and then you need to take a break. No problem. You can just close the browser and the game will remain open.
And this means that if you want to play a premium game, only one of you needs to have a silver or gold membership.
So if you're a silver member, you can play premium games. If you're a gold member, you can...
sorry, that's not ticked. Okay. Sorry, that confused me, because that's... I'm sorry, I've not got my glasses on this morning, and that cross the outs line was just a bit thin for me to see.
Yes, that's fine. No, so if you have a gold membership, you can host the game and share that with anybody, even if it's a premium game, and they'll be able to play that game with you completely for free. So if you say you want to play Wingspan, which is one of our premium games, and you are a gold member, you can share that link with anyone, even someone who doesn't have a Tabletopia account, and they can play that game with you. Silver members can play all the premium games, but only with other premium members.
And the number of setups is something where you kind of say, okay, I just hit a button and then this is the 5-player setup. Okay, I hit a button and now it's instantly at the 2-player setup.
That's right, yeah.
The megabytes is basically going to be all for the graphics image files. And what is this game analytics? And can you talk about quickly what these other things are?
Of course. So if you're a designer, the advanced and pro plans give you access to more things such as game analytics, which allows you to see more statistics about the users who play your game and the hours of your game that gets played. You also get priority moderation if there's any technical issues, and you have the ability to do custom sounds. So you can add sound effects. You can do, like, every time you flip a card, something funky happens, or you can have it so people press a button and then a character will do some narration. And if you go to the pro plan, you can have 3D objects as well as the ability to have your games available on the mobile app.
So 3D objects would be like custom meeple shapes or miniatures.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and
Have a good day, Nikki. See you around.
Oh, sorry. I think that means in real life, but yeah. So you were going to share some stats with us, or did I distract you too much?
Oh gosh, sorry. I will tell you that on average, we've been getting about 1 million users to the site. We've got 200
Per day, per
per month. Excuse me.
okay.
We got 200,000 active players and subscribers, and let's see. In the previous month, we had 82,132 hours of playtime.
So what I was curious about was specifically how this month compared to 2019 in terms of growth, and then how 2019 compared to 2018, because I was expecting like a linear curve and then a big increase, but I was just mildly curious if that was actually going to hold true. It wasn't a really big deal or anything.
No, I think that's a very fair question, and I am now curious too. So let's have a look. If we look at August 2019,
Alan Outson's got a newbie question.
Yeah.
So play hot seats or play online.
Mhm.
Hot seats, people mean literally swapping seats with someone. Is that correct? Like
Yeah. So if you're physically in the same space as someone, and you want to take turns with the same mouse and keyboard, hot seat just is a mode that is structured for that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's answering questions on the fly. But
one
while
thing
you're getting that,
sorry.
I will
Yeah.
check all, because we do have a couple of previous questions on Facebook.
Oh, go ahead. Absolutely.
So,
one thing I would like to briefly touch on, if that's okay,
absolutely.
is that with the comparison to Tabletop Simulator, one thing I think that is often missed, and look, it depends about you as a player. There's no judgment either way, but oh gosh, this sounds really confrontational. But all the games on Tabletopia are official and made in coordination with the publishers. On Tabletop Simulator, you will find a lot of games made by people that aren't the publishers. Sometimes the publishers are happy with them, sometimes they're not. But when you play the premium games on Tabletopia, they're actually revenue shared with the publishers. And so it's a really nice way to support your publishers. If you're a premium member and you're playing those games, you're actually directly benefiting the people who create the games that you're enjoying and loving. So that's one point of difference I would like to emphasize.
Yeah, I think that's a really big point, because there's been a lot of cases of Fantasy Flight games issuing cease and desist, basically.
Yeah, like the Arkham Horror LCG. I remember that was a big thing recently.
Well, basically all the FFG stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, get this down off of because is Asmodee stuff on Tabletopia?
Asmodee stuff. We're actually currently in talks with them about a few things, and I think you will see some Asmodee
because,
stuff.
I mean, they are the biggest, the only massive, hobby games company. I mean,
of course.
But yeah, they are the one company that I can say, yeah, they would have the budget if they chose to make something that would rival both Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator for sure, and say, hey, this is our method. We want to, when was it that Disney took all their stuff off all the other streaming platforms last year?
Yeah,
and then this year came up with the Disney Plus. Asmodee could do that for sure if they wanted.
100%. Asmodee can do what Asmodee wants.
Yeah. Now, let's get stuck into the. I don't feel like it's fair coming from it from a comparing the two, but I will invite Tabletop Simulator to come back on. to come on as well to offer the other thing, because genuinely this is just me trying to find out.
Sure.
And Tabletopia, it feels like it's going to be more expensive if you desire those extra functions. Over the long term, it's going to be quite a bit more. Conversely, Tabletopia is going to be cheaper if all you want to do is play a couple of games at a time and play test other people's games, or even I could, have an L deck, and it sounds like that should take me about 15 minutes or so to put up there.
I reckon, yeah.
Now, what you've got revenue sharing, which I, as a designer / self-publisher, I'm quite a fan of, and I know that Inside the Box, who made the Escapee Subterra one. Thank you.
Oh yeah, Subterra 2. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're now. They made a thing for Seize the Power, which I should start testing with people who can actually access Tabletopia.
Sure.
Which is a real shame for Xate. Is there anything that we can do about that? Is there is it just running in the browser? Because if it's running in the browser, maybe that's a limitation. Is there any plans for an individual app for the game? Because it's all in browser stuff right now, right?
Well, so if you have Steam, which is the video game platform, you actually can download the Tabletopia standalone app, and that's completely free to grab.
Okay,
yeah.
And so potentially that's something that might help.
Possibly, yeah. It really depends. But I'm on the Twitter. If people are having trouble, welcome to shoot me a message, and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, what other differences would you like to talk about before we nail this thing for the moment?
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't really, for publishers, is one thing. We're not precious about, being the only platform, being the exclusive platform. We don't, we know that for a Kickstarter, it's in your best interest to have your game wherever people can get their hands on it. So please put it on Tabletopia and put it on Tabletop Simulator. We welcome that. We want more people playing games. But I think the accessibility of just being able to link someone to a website, just to give them a web link and have them be hopping into a game in 30 seconds, I think that's a really nice point of difference that allows people a lot of space when they're marketing their game. Ooh.
Whoops, sorry.
That's okay. So for example, if you were to share me the link of where you are right now, I would be able to play the game with you.
So if I just copy pasted this link?
Yep.
Okay. So Javier says, regarding browsers, it works on Chrome for Javier, but not on Firefox.
Oh, that's very interesting. So I actually do now. One thing I do find is that is Firefox your primary browser, or is Chrome your primary browser? Because one thing we do find is that there can be memory issues with browsers if they're your daily use browser, and you've got a bunch of extensions installed and a bunch of other things that are wreaking havoc on your memory usage. So that's something to factor in. But I'm not saying that's what's happening with you, but it could be potentially the situation there. So I'm actually just joining you for chess. I'll be hopping in 1 sec.
Just looking at these things, I can't. So I don't have a mouse. I've got a touchpad. So
okay.
I can't quite do the rotate camera. Is there an alternative way to rotate camera with a touchpad?
You don't have a right mouse button. Is that
No, I've got the right mouse button.
Yeah. So if you hold down the right mouse button.
Oh, the key is that it's okay. I thought you were meant to rotate it. I thought that icon for rotate camera was to. Yeah, I was being a numpty. I'm tired this morning. Sorry, everyone.
No, you deserve it after last night. That's fine.
Okay, so that's rotating the camera. Full screen. Okay, I'm not going to do that.
I can see that Dreyotin has hopped into the game before me, and I am not a player.
Oh wait, did you just move the...
I'm not playing. Someone else on your stream is playing.
Oh, because they can see my browser because I'm sharing...
That is correct.
Yeah. Ah. Alan Alton. Okay.
There it is.
I don't truly play chess well. What's this object view? I feel like I'm...
Which one?
What does... Yeah, I feel like I'm missing this.
So this is your... That's your little tutorial because it's the first time you've created an account. So
yeah, but what does object view mean?
Which one? Object view. So that's typically used in games with cards. So it's not applicable in chess. So for games with cards or tokens, if you press spacebar when you're hovering over that object, it'll bring it up full screen so you can read the text a lot easier.
Okay. So it's just a thing that wouldn't happen for anything. It feels like, why not have it for these things? Because then you could appreciate the miniatures if you like the miniatures or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. Sadly, that is not the case here.
Going to magnify Z.
So you can just hold Z and it'll zoom you right in.
Ooh.
There, you can appreciate your miniatures there.
Ooh, nice. And camera view. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, set camera view. Okay, so if you want to have a top thing, then I guess you do
can
that.
hold
then
one.
You go out, and maybe that's a view that I like, so I press shift that. So that's one. That's two. Cool.
Yeah, so now you've got preset camera angles that you can always come back to.
Yep, and...
Your knight has fallen over. If you just grab your knight and you press Q or E, that'll rotate it. Should knock it back into position.
So Q or E is just a boom.
It's a 90-degree rotation.
Hey, Alan, I think you just moved your knight twice. That feels... I'm just going to flick my pawn at you. Oh, I thought maybe I could. So you do actually have objects to stop. Oh wait, I forgot which. I forgot that was black when we started. Yeah, this game's not happening. Was never happening.
If you need to quickly restart it, you'll see there's a little menu in the top left, and you can just hit that and click restart, and that'll throw everything back to the beginning.
Okay, so let me minimize this. Or so in Facebook, someone was saying, what tools would you use to gather the images that need to be ported to Tabletopia?
And by that, do they mean what? How would you prepare?
Basically, once they've got the graphics that needs to go onto the cards, and third-party things do you recommend? Or
honestly, if you have any graphic, if you've made graphics, you probably already have graphic manipulation software such as GIMP or Photoshop or Paint.net, anything that really lets you manipulate objects and crop them. So I definitely use a tool that you're already using to create your graphics, just to size them into the appropriate size. And I should mention, we have a very comprehensive knowledge base with detailed walkthroughs if you're trying to create a game. So I'm actually just going to let Bez share that out. I've sent that to Bez. But we have a very comprehensive knowledge base that sort of helps you walk through the steps of creating a game. So we have a game designer checklist, which is very useful, that talks you through how to prepare the graphics. We also have step-by-step breakdowns on how to import graphics, how to interact with the different things. So we have card objects, we have tokens, and we have different types of objects. And this all will take care of it. It'll all show you how those things work. If you're interested and you really want to see how things work, I did a live stream on Tabletopia's Twitch channel about during Gen Con Online, where I made a game live completely from scratch. And it with the talking to the audience and just sort of walking through what I was doing, it took me about 2.5 hours to make a game. And it would honestly have been quicker if I'd just thrown on a podcast and not have to worry about narrating to people. So it's pretty simple once your graphics are prepared. And yeah, we do have a preparing graphics article that I will also share. So yeah, there are a lot of if you're already preparing your art for a game and you're already making cards, then you've probably already got the tools you need to make something on Tabletopia. Now, one thing I should point out: if you just are making a prototype and you don't have any arts or any assets or any graphics, we have pre-made objects as well. So we have pre-made meeples, pre-made cards, pre-made tokens and pawns. You can just grab them, throw them into the game space, and you've got a working prototype.
I'm just whoops, that's not what I wanted to open. I'm just looking through my own images for the L deck that Denim made. So would you want each image as a separate image, or would you want it as a multi-page PDF? Would both work for importing into Tabletopia?
Let's see. I haven't done it with a multi-page, but I believe you will want every card individual at this stage. But I'm going to have a chat to our people up top and see if multi-image importing is a possibility, because that sounds like a very
so we've got a couple of questions about exciting future plans or the philosophical issue of whether this is a video game or a board game. And I think that there might be a lot of more practical bits before we get into the philosophy, at least for this episode. And with regards to the future stuff, I'll leave you to say whether there's stuff that you'd like to share at the end and how much, if so. But remind me to kind of get to that at the end. So
you need to keep you on the rails. Got it.
If I stop sharing my screen, and if I were to, how long do you think, and would it be interesting for people for me to do live turning 48 images into a deck on Tabletop Simulator to see how it's done? You trying to walk someone through who's never done it before?
I suggest we come back with it for another episode where you've already prepped your graphics, and then I could run you through the actual creation of the game.
I mean, think it's safe for me to share my entire screen. Yep. So sharing my entire screen, which you can see that bit. But if I showed this,
oh my goodness.
So
Recursion is recursive. Oh boy.
Actually, let me change this and just do the this bit. So yeah, like I've got the 48 image. So these are the 48 cards. You can see them.
Yeah.
As pings going from card V2 up to 48.
Yep.
So that seems like all the prepping I need to do, right?
Pretty much. Do you have a card back as well? Or are they double-sided?
Should be. One of these images should have been. There we go. Card back new. That
great. I can show you how to do that right now.
Card back. Oh, that looks like the old card back. Still, it's better than nothing. Okay, so if I stop the screen, and I will just share the screen with the Tabletopia. So how would it happen? So
all right. Well, go back to the homepage. So you want to close this room for now. So just go back to tabletopia.com. Or here's good, actually. So you'll see at the top, we have the workshop. That's where you'll create games. So let's create a new game. So fill out the details. You want your game name, the genre, the URL you want, all those fun things. Now, this is your game, I should point out.
Yes. Is there going to be a check somewhere that it needs to be my things?
We vet every game to make sure that it is your game.
And what game types?
If you don't have a box art, if you don't have box art yet, no stress. If you don't have a banner image, that's fine. We'll come back to them.
It's not really class. Word game. Oh, there's no matching for word game.
Don't stress too much about the game type.
Okay. Oh, should I have a thing here? Oh, can I? No, lowercase. Yeah, that seems fine. Game name on BGG. Do I just copy paste the URL? Nah, it's depends which game, I guess. From 5 minutes to 2 hours, because of the nature of what the LDEC is.
Do you have a description on BGG?
I should just copy paste that.
Probably just copy paste that, right?
And
yeah, copy all that.
Fairly sure I wrote this, so submitted by.
Don't worry about that.
The
submitted by is just a it's an admin thing if we're doing the game on behalf of a publisher.
Can I add all these credits later?
Yeah, of course. You can come back for this. You can do all this later.
Designer, who else? Andrew Dennison was one of the designers. And Tom Cauldron was also a designer.
Oh.
And I'm going to have to add lots of different names, but that's not what people want to see. And I'll make sure that there's one with an actual link. So let's have Tom Cauldron again, but with their actual Twitter. Tom. There we go. That is Tom's. That's the Danish version of Tom. And so, can you only have one link per person?
One link per person? Yeah, just because it's a highlighted URL, so the text. But you can add the people multiple times if you'd like.
Yeah, what happens if I didn't add a URL?
Sorry. Oh, it'll just display their name without any hyperlink.
Okay, because the Andrew Dennison I didn't have the things. And let's
but
say
there's
this
a little link
is
section on the list.
available to all users. Oh,
Don't worry about that for now, because you're just
so you
switch-
contact us. So what does this mean? So do you normally have to do it for personal use and then you contact people afterwards?
That's
Is
right.
that how it works?
So you'll contact us once you've created the game, and then that gives us a bit of time just to make sure it's polished, just to make sure that it looks and runs well on the system, and then that you are the rights holder for the game. So we do all the vetting to make sure that the game is good to go. This is our standard terms of use. You can find it anywhere on the website.
And obviously, you're only allowed to create one account because otherwise that would be getting you some of the features that
you should not have. Yes.
And that is, I'm going to make a little leap of faith there and assume that there's nothing.
Okay. Great. So you've created your basic game. You've got, this is basically what would be your description page. We'll come back, add your box art later. We'll add a nice pretty image later. But for now, we want to create our first setup. So what setups are the, as you said before, the predefined, when someone goes into the game, this is the setup for 2 players. Or when someone goes into the game, this is the setup for 8 players. And so it's the layout of cards that you've made for different player counts. In this case, it's, I believe, the same amount of players. You don't do any changes to setup, right, per player?
Basically, I just want to get a bunch of cards in there so that people can, because there's like 50 or 100 different games you can play with the deck. There's limitless games.
That's awesome.
But it's how do I just, the point is, how do I just get a deck of cards onto there? What's the quickest way?
Sure. So what you're going to do is hit create object.
Create object.
Yep. In the
here.
Section. Yes. And
card
you're going to make
deck.
a card deck.
Can I select multiple images?
Yes. So upload the card back first into that section.
Browse. I'm going to cancel and hide my. Actually, I'm not so embarrassed to put out my filing system. I'm going to go Bez, and then it's desktop, then it's productive, and then it's games, and then it's the L deck somewhere, and then there's the stuff that Denim did. Yeah, this is where I should be embarrassed. And
you have your own hold music.
This is there we go. Wibble that Denim did. Okay, the card back. Hopefully that works.
There it is. Very good.
Nice.
Now you'll see the upload front image. You can click upload images, select all of them, and they'll get dumped in.
Boom. 48 images. Awesome.
All right. They're just going to do their thing for a little bit.
Nice. Oh, exciting. Check it out.
Oh, there's so many.
Things are appearing.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice.
Cool. So it looks like it's uploaded.
47 of them.
Is that correct?
No, there should have been 48. Did I miss a number?
What did you miss?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh my gosh.
Is there a number missing? I'm confused.
Wait. I don't know what. See, I don't know your game, so I don't know what I'm looking for.
I'm going to assume that was on my end. I will double check that afterwards.
All right.
I'm going to press publish that.
Yep. You did not select Creative Commons, so people won't be able to use your cards for their own use.
What's the what's the rights? If I upload it, so I still have all the rights to this artwork, right?
You do. So there is an option to make it Creative Commons, but that's the only opportunity you would get to actually make it available to other people. So that is now in the processing queue. That'll chug along, and once those cards are processed, you'll have a beautiful deck of cards. So
cool. And then in a few minutes, then we'll be able to play that potentially with someone, and I could just play it with people live on here.
Absolutely. So the game doesn't actually have to be published for you to share it with people. So once those cards have uploaded, the next step we're going to do is we're going to put those cards into a setup space, and then basically you're just going to make a deck of cards for people to play. And then once that's done, you'll hit publish, and then you'll be able to share it out to people. So you'll make a thing called a play zone, which is basically a one-time use link that people can use in order to play the game before it's published or before it's live. And so that's really good for prototyping, really good for publishers to demo their games. We had a lot of success with Gen Con, Renegade Con, Portal Games Con. They used private play zone links to actually demo games that weren't available publicly yet, which is really cool.
And so presumably this is going to take a bit of time, like 10 minutes or something?
Oh, maybe like 5 minutes. It really depends on the queue. Actually, if you just hit refresh, let's see if any of them have actually finished, or they may still be thinking.
Oh, so I just refresh the browser to be. Oh, okay.
Oh, they're all in. Now, one thing I want to ask you. Oh, they're still going. No problem. But they're beginning to get processed. Now, one thing I should ask: when people play your game, is the deck of cards random?
Yes, normally.
Okay, yeah. So there's actually a way we can set up the game. We're getting slightly advanced, but there is actually a way you can set up the game where when people load the game, it will have pre-shuffled the deck for you. So you've just turned that on, I believe?
Yes.
Yes. That's fine. And I'll show you how that works once we get into the game.
But we can just go through the normal processing queue, and I will remove that screen and I'll bring it back if there's any big exciting changes.
Cool.
But let's get stuck into what we were meant to cover. So we were meant to cover pricing, playtesting, and prototype creation in a quick introductory manner, which I feel like we've definitely... Oh, the screen just brightened. I don't know what that means. I think it just means that it's registered that it's
registered your random application.
This deck is indeed random.
I'll actually just point out briefly what the random thing is. So that random icon only appears if every object in this group, in this folder you've created, is the exact same dimensions. And there's a reason for that. So basically, without getting too technical, when you get into the creator, you're going to drop a bunch of objects called random objects. And those will pull from these cards that are in this folder. And so it'll allow you to always randomize the cards that are in this. Oh my goodness, what is it doing?
What?
Is it flashing for you?
Is it flashing for me?
It was flashing on the stream, but it's gone now. It's gone now.
Okay.
But yes, this will keep chugging along. You are competing with everyone else who is publishing a game.
Yeah, it's all good.
Processing a game right now, so there is a queue that our servers have to work through.
Whereas, there's so all of these games are kept in a central server. And when you go to the thing, like you're basically accessing Tabletopia server, and anyone can, and some of them are kind of private. So if I'm working on, for example, or if Alan Paul is working on Kingmaker, for example, and because of Gibson's licensing, wants to maintain a very strict control over who is able to access that, there's a way to make you just keep it as a private thing. Whereas I checked and I made it a public thing, which means that now anyone can go to Tabletopia and play it for free. Is that my understanding is correct?
So once you've completed your game, you'll message us to turn on that box that lets you make it public. But that's after we vet to make sure that your game runs smoothly and is properly done, and you are the rights holder. So
I guess there's also the fact that there's also, it removes the potential for trolling.
Yeah, 100%. We I mean, we try to avoid we don't want, you know, games that just don't work, basically, because what's the point? People can, I mean, obviously can upload a game and send it privately to people, but all our public games have been vetted by us.
Sorry, I was just counting my images, and there's definitely 48 in the little thing.
Do you know which one is missing?
It's just a really weird one. It definitely went from, because if I share my screen again, to this one, which, so you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I did actually double check these all, and it is definitely all present and correct up until 48.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. We can look at the files that have been uploaded to Tabletopia and just see what the missing number is. Might have just
Alan's suggests that they are, but they're not sequentially kept in Tabletopia, are they?
Let's go have a look.
Whoops. I need to stop that and share the thing. So, what do you think that Tabletopia is going to decline in use in 2 years' time?
In 2 years' time? I definitely think it will. Yeah. I think hopefully, and like for good cause, people will be able to get to board game conventions again and get to actually see each other again. I mean, right now in Melbourne, it's 8 p.m. and I'm not allowed to leave the house. So I definitely think that there will not be the same growth that we're having right now. But that being said, I think a lot of the value of Tabletopia is that, I mean, it's interesting, right? We find that a lot of people who play the premium games actually already have played or own the physical game, and they use Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator just as a way to play the game conveniently remotely, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's one or the other. It's not exclusive, and I think that it's just a nice way to connect with people, and it's another tool. It's, you know, it's like playing a video game with your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a board game? Is it a video game? That is the question for later, I think.
Or I don't feel like we're going to come to any clear distinction. Javier wants to call it a boardio game or a videoed game.
Yep.
Some things just came up on screen. I don't know if this means that all of them are ready. I'll refresh it so it goes 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
oh,
7.
wait, there's a 4 missing.
Oh, where's your 4?
6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28.
I don't see your 4.
40. What's up with why? Okay, so what happens if?
That's all right. We'll just make a new
card.
So now we're just going to make a card, not a card deck.
And browse. So I would go to the card back.
Depending on which one you selected, I think you just click the front.
No.
Oh no, that's the back. There it is.
When I'm sharing the screen, the mouse doesn't correctly align
Right.
exactly.
That makes sense. Brilliant. There we are.
So there, save, and that's it.
That's it.
And what are we allowed? Are you allowed? So presumably you're not. There are some rules against pornographic or hateful content.
Correct. Yes.
Like, would sexual content be allowed?
We have dirty party games, and those are obviously a thing that people like to play, but we try to avoid anything that I guess we have this thing in Australia called the pub. Oh, you okay?
It's saying name field is required.
Just call it card 04. We have this thing in Australia called the pub test, right? And the sort of idea behind it is if you went down to the pub and you got a beer with people, and then it's something that you said out loud in the pub, and people were like, "Oh, that's a bit weird. That's a bit odd." It probably wouldn't fly. And it's just sort of the idea that I can't tell you the explicit lines of what is good or bad, but I can tell you that when it feels wrong, it probably is wrong.
If it's something that you might see at Essen, okay.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely games that I've seen at Essen that I'm not sure would fly at UK Games Expo. I'm thinking of two games in particular. I don't want that. One which argue, is this even a conversation that we want to be having? Arguing exactly, at the point where you're arguing exactly where the line is, surely at that point you've kind of already lost.
I think so. And it's not a conversation I'm really interested in. All I know is that you know it when you see it, it's ethereal, and it's a bit hard to put a finger on, but you know it when you see it, right? You know when something doesn't feel appropriate. You know when this isn't something that should be out there. And I think that's I think it's definitely I think it's a feeling that you have. But before you leave the screen, by the way, I would turn back on the random feature, because you've now just added a new card, so it has to refresh.
Okay.
Yep.
So this front it's saying that the front is random. Okay.
Yep.
And is there anything that I need to do to save this, or?
Nope.
I was just trying to work out what to do.
So if you just want to head back to the home. Oh, not the tabletop. Yeah, well, that'll do. Click on your game. Click on your game again. Yep. And now scroll down. There's your setup that's in progress. We'll go into that.
And
just click on the one to wait.
Yeah. Is this where I would go to play it now?
That's right. So we have to create the setup first, but what will happen in here is you create this link, and you'll include the 1 to 8 player setup in that play zone.
So I need to create setup. Oh.
Scroll down to that. Go to that 1 to 8 play. Yep, you're in there.
Edit setup, I guess.
So if you scroll down.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're fine. If you scroll down, and we look at the workflow, we've now created the objects, right? So now what we're going to do is edit the setup. So we're going to set up the objects on the table.
And if I just wanted to, let's say, have all the cards in a deck.
Yeah.
on the center of the table. Something
Yeah.
really simple.
Yep. So if you just want the cards by themselves, just grab each card and start dragging and dropping them onto the table, and then we'll assemble them as a deck. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, wait,
You already got that
chat.
one.
Did
So
just
what you want to do is right click on the one you don't want.
Oops.
Oh my
goodness. Right click.
And you want to remove the object or delete the object. Remove. Yeah. Down the bottom left. Yep.
Okay. So is there a way to just say I want all of these cards, grab all of them and put them into a deck?
No, not currently. But I think the reason for that is because that drastically affects the server time.
Feels a bit weird to have to do this, because this very much feels like the type of work that a robot would be better at. And how do I I'm going left and right because I'm trying to work out how to see the cards after EK, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. There's a little arrow on the right.
Oh, so there is. That was really dark. I didn't quite see it.
That's okay. But let's say, for example, you've gotten everything onto there that you'd want, right?
Sure. You carry on. So you can fill some time. I'll continue doing this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Now, one thing I want to point out is right now you're just getting your cards onto the table. But if you want them randomized when you're making the game, you actually want to not drag in these 44, 45? How many objects?
48.
48. You don't want to actually drag in these 48 objects. You want to drag in 48 of the randomizer element, which is back at the left
Wait.
start.
Now you tell me. Okay, so wait a minute. With the randomizer, would that keep them all unique?
That would keep them all unique, yeah.
Oh man.
So no.
I want
really, yeah.
So how do I select all of these? Because if I drag, it's just dragging the table.
To click and drag a box. Now you can right click and remove.
Okay.
So you'll want to drag in 48 of those. What you can do is once you've got a few down, you can right click one and you can duplicate it 12 times.
6. Okay, so that's 6, I think. Which one?
There we are. Now, just wait, because if you get impatient, you'll be summoning way too many objects. There they are. They're going to start appearing out of nowhere. They'll just flutter down like little snow of randomized card objects. Oh goodness, there they go. Okay, you've hit the limit. So so what's happening right now is you've attempted to summon more than 48 of a thing. And I think you've done 48, haven't you?
I thought I did exactly 48. So how do I make them into a nice little...
So grab one of the cards, pop it aside. You've currently got everything selected. Yep. And now what you want to do is shift, hold, and grab every card. And then mouse over the one card you've set aside and put your mouse in the center. Oh, sorry. Grab the cards and then drag them on top of the card. And then, you wanna basically wait. I'll show you with one card first. Grab one other card. Now,
wait. Grabbing one card is kind of... Okay.
So, see how it turns orange when you mouse over it? when you release, that puts it on as a deck. So if you put your mouse in the dead center and just hold it there for a sec, it turns orange, and that pops it into a deck. And so you want to do that for all of them.
Yay!
Bang.
48
Yay.
cards.
There we go.
Ooh.
Whew.
So now I do something to save this thing.
We had a question. Will this potentially give more than one copy of each card? No. So what happened, you saw that Bez hit a thing where it was saying you've exceeded the maximum amount of this object. That's because this randomizer element can only ever have 48 versions of itself, because it's pulling from the pool of cards that we created before. So when Bez tried to create the 49th one, it wouldn't let you because there were no more cards left to pull from. Yeah. Oh no, I've lost your sound, Bez. Hello? Bez? Bez, I've lost your sound.
Oh,
there you are.
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry.
It's okay.
I muted myself when I was slamming the thing down. So Javier says, with the free accounts, you can create one game. Is that in total, or does that mean that just one game can exist at a time?
That would just mean one game can exist at a time. So you're welcome to delete and then go again.
And you have 2 setups per game, correct?
2 setups with the free account, yes.
Okay, so is everything automatically saved on Tabletopia?
So if you in this setup editor, it's sort of the only time that things don't automatically save, and that's because there is room to make mistakes. If you click that game menu button in the top left, you'll see save, and you'll just hit that. So this is sort of the only space in Tabletopia where things don't automatically save, and that's because we want to make sure you're getting things the way you want them. Because I've made mistakes before in the editor and then been like, oh, how do I undo everything? I just won't save.
Okay, so it does at least warn you.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, what you want to do...
create a second setup.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That's okay. Just go into the setup you created. The default setup.
The
bottom one.
Oh, this one's in progress. Okay, so I would go into this one to...
So you can see now... Yeah, so if you
wanted to, for example, I won't force people to stare at this, but if I wanted to create a randomized grid...
Yeah.
Let's say I wanted to now have a grid of all the cards. Is there tools like there is in Flash for, in Flash Editor, for when you want to, or Illustrator, for when you want to have, let's say, a 6 by whatever, and to say, okay, I want to have these things spaced around the same point, like making a grid system to...
Yeah, so we do have a thing called magnetic maps, and that's a bit of an advanced thing. But
that's something that you need to edit yourself separately.
That's right. So, but we have a knowledge base article about it. But essentially, magnetic maps are a image you overlay on top of a grid or board image, which allows you to create snapping when something is placed on top of it. So, if you're happy with that, we can go publish that now. So if you just click out of this and you go to the setup that we created,
which was the top one, right?
Bottom one, I believe. And then you scroll to the bottom. You'll see the final step is to publish.
Okay.
So that is going to pop it into the publishing queue. But
and is this an automated bit, or is this is there any
yeah.
human check behind this?
No, so not for what's happening right now. It's done. Your game is live as a private game that people can play.
So
yeah.
Now, for me to play it with potentially Alan Outson, for example,
yeah,
we could do that right now.
Yeah, if you go back to the game page,
game page,
you scroll down. What you want to do is create a play zone, and this is a private link. So include the setup 1 to 8 players. So you want to tick that box there before we go ahead. Hit save. And now go back into it.
And I copied the URL, so
I think it may generate a new URL when you make changes. So you just may want to go in there and
so click on it again.
Yep. And there's your URL that you want to use. And you just share that link, and they can start a game.
Okay, so we play this, and then I would type in the same URL, and it would be like, okay, let's see what happens. Or do I need to click the add seats?
You want to add seats, or it'll just be you.
Okay. Let's say there's...
And so now you've created this play zone. Share the playground link that you've created now.
Playground link?
So sorry, share the link of this right now.
Yeah, what I had in the Twitch.
Oh yes, you had. I see. What you've shared is the private link for the ability to create a game. But that's how people can start their own games. But now, if you share this link up here,
so literally the link up top.
Game. Sorry.
So literally the link, the URL is in the page.
Yep, that's right. And you should.
Okay, so it seems like the technology of Tabletopia, it's all about just sharing the URL that you're on.
That's right.
And apparently we're playing a game. So if I wanted to say, okay, let's play Wibble, although it does occur to me that Alan's at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah. Wait, where did your cards go?
Oh.
What happened to your cards? Hold on a second.
Man.
Did we publish the wrong setup? Let's just go back to your editor for a sec.
So
sorry, folks.
Go back to lobby, or
let's actually go back to the editor. Just want to double check.
Whoops.
So the workshop.
Workshop. So Playground is where you play other people's games.
That's right.
Workshop is where you make your own games.
That's right. Let's go into your game. Let's just double check that we've actually shared the right thing. Go into the published setup.
So I click that.
Yeah.
And edit it.
Yeah.
See what it's all about.
Oh no, we published the wrong one. Oh goodness. Let's actually publish
in progress one. I will. So
there it is, and you can see the preview of that. So let's actually.
Is there a way to delete this, or?
Yeah. So go into the published one. More. Top right. Yep. Delete it. Gone. Our mistake. Let's now go to the setup that actually is correct. Oop. That one. Let's
publish.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, at least you get to a little preview, so that.
So yeah. Sorry, folks.
Okay, so if I wanted to copy and paste this to use this setup as the start for something else, presumably there's a way to do that as well.
Yes, there is. So if you actually go back to the game page.
I mean, we don't need to do it right now. It was. I feel like once we've done this, this is going to be. I'm aware that we've already been going through for a couple of hours. Hopefully, this is of some interest for other people.
Yeah.
Let me refresh this page to see if it's. So.
Still having a think.
Okay. So let's. Should we talk about what types of games can't be? No, that's a bit negative. I was going to say, like, you can't do drawing games.
You can't, no. Although we are actually, in the future, working on allowing you to draw in the space. And also to write on cards as well. So that is.
You mentioned roll and writes. You mentioned cartographers.
Yeah. So
how does the roll and writes work?
Cartographers is actually really elegant because if you think about Cartographers, the game, it actually there are only like 6 different icons you ever write in all the squares. So rather than writing the the farmland or writing the rivers, all you do is we have a bunch of tokens, we have a bunch of river tokens, we have a bunch of farmland tokens, and you just drag and drop them onto the grid.
Yeah, that makes sense. So kind of changing it from a roll and write to basically a tile placement game.
Pretty much, yeah. So you'll just want to enable that setup. You want to hit save.
Test 2.
All right, let's go into that. You'll create a game with that play zone link.
Wait, so a play zone is just. It's kind of like one copy of the game, is that correct?
Yeah, basically. It's
with a free account, how many copies of the game could I have?
With the play zones, I think you can create oh gosh. That's actually not something we've really tested out. But the games
is it a large number?
Possibly. But the games you create in the play zones do eat into your games that are allowed to be open at once.
Okay, so I could have, as a free thing, I could only have 2 play zones.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to open that play zone, grab that link, and then start a new game, we can share that out with people, and we can actually see it work.
Okay, so now it's on the thing. Now Okay, so I need to grab this link and then using this link into my URL. Is that the way it works?
That's it. And you'll create a game with that URL. And now you share this link with people.
Okay.
And one thing I want to point out while you're on this page, you'll see at the bottom right there, invite players or share room with friends, and then there's a 6-digit code. What's really cool about Tabletopia is you can actually share that code EHV9N8, and you can pop it into the search bar in the top right of any of the pages of Tabletopia. And that'll actually bring up the room. So that's the other way you can share rooms with people.
I wonder, okay, so you are apparently offline. That's weird.
Oh, yeah, I have my status set offline. It's like Skype, where you're there, but you're not telling people.
Okay, I was going to say, Alan, how would you feel about, you could do just your voice, and we play voice chats. Unfortunately, a lot of these are, or we could play alphabetical. But the point is that now we just do whatever. Start now.
Start now? Yeah.
Okay, so there's a 5-minute timer in case, hey, we need to be ready for
allowing
whatever.
everyone to confirm that they want to play and they're ready to play.
And so this is now the point where if this was a oh, it's all face up, I just realized. So shift and drag. How would I flip these things?
There you go.
And is there a way to shuffle it?
Yeah, right click and then shuffle. The little shuffle bottom right icon. Yep. There it is.
Yeah, it's probably super obvious. So, oh, wait, there's 47 again.
Oh, no.
Wait, is this without...
Oh, you know what? One of those cards wasn't actually put into the deck. I think you just put it on top. But we can fix that later.
Okay, it's 48 now. Okay, so here's where I would be saying, okay, in this game, everyone takes a card or whatever, or we play Wibble where, okay, now you need to shout a word using one letter from each card, for example.
One letter.
This is like not about now it's no longer about making the thing. Now here's where we all get stuck into actually playing the game. So I think that understandably it would take a little bit of effort if we were to start doing a little bit of a complicated layout, like building up a tableau. That's really something that should have been done in the setup section.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to sorts of, is there a way to nudge things? Like
nudge things? No. You're just gonna grab it and drop it wherever it lands.
But yeah, potentially if we wanted to make a grid.
And you wanted the game to start with a grid? Yeah, absolutely, you could do that.
That's a setup thing that we would do. This is like where we can just say, okay, now we are playing the game. It's probably so there is all sorts of stuff that we could really get stuck into. Thank you so much for basically walking me through this creation of this thing.
Of course. I mean, yeah.
Apparently people wanted to make a 3x3 grid.
I can see that.
And I'm going to make the word tip. And maybe because got the word tip, I get
tip.
That one. So
Now, let's say, for example, this game, you need to record score. One thing you can do is you could make tokens and then you could distribute them to players. That's another way you can do it. Now, I can see someone has discovered the hand feature, and that's you. So you can actually keep cards in your hand by dragging them to the bottom of the screen. And these cards are visible only to you. So it's a way to have private information in a game. So on the stream, I can see your SH and OH cards, but not in the game.
Yes. So what does it look like if you gather some cards in your hand?
Yeah, I'll just take some cards into my hand.
And are these cards in my hand always going to be the same size?
No, so you can press the H button to actually hide them, get rid of them. So if they're a bit obnoxious...
So basically, I don't see anything. I just see that Alan's got 4 cards in their hand.
That's right.
And you've got 3.
Yeah, that's right. So it's like you're at the table and you can see that people have card backs, but you don't know what's in them. Now, one cool thing about decks, you can actually right-click on a deck. I'll let you do this, actually. If you right-click on the deck and you press the deal button, that one, you can actually deal out cards. So it'll give everyone that amount of cards from the deck. So I just got 5 cards from the deck.
Okay.
Yeah. And now I'm just
That's actually...
play them out.
Yeah. And then if I wanted to reset, let me...
You can just start it all again.
So could anyone click the restart button?
No, only the host.
And so... Oh, this is 48 cards by default. I was going to say, let me actually shuffle. And so, yeah, having that randomized object, that was such an easier way to do it.
Because it's already shuffled for you when you restart the game, which is really fun.
We had, if we wanted to, for example, play quintuple, which,
sure. So one thing for your game, for example, that might be good is to have a setup for quintuple, then a setup for a different game, then a setup for a different game. And so people can just hop in and the board is laid out how it needs to be for that specific game.
With someone like ITB, where it's a multi-person company, would it be that Peter would presumably... I mean, I know you don't know them individually, but presumably the owner of the company would make like the gold account so they can, you know, make loads of games.
Yeah.
And then everyone else just needs a free account, so
they can play correct? Like this? Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely a way to do it.
So the idea behind quintuple is that, I mean, do we have time for...
I've always got time.
Okay, let's restart this. Who's red? Dr. Alan Houghton. Okay, I'm going to actually explain quintuple in case... I don't think anyone's played it apart from me.
Sure.
Oh, what happened there? I pressed restart and...
Oh, no.
Oh, did someone save a mid-game thing as a... Oh, there we go.
That was weird.
Okay, so... Flip. And so, the way quintuple works is you have 5 cards in the middle.
Okay.
And only 5 cards. And on your turn, you draw one of the cards or you make a word.
Okay.
And so let's say we're going... Can you change your color?
Oh. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'll be purple at least.
Great. Green is already taken, so unfortunately I cannot thieve green, but that's okay.
So I will take this card. So now and then replace, and that is entirely the turn of the game. In this game, you get 1 point for each lower letter that you've used in your word. So you're going to be using up to 5 cards in your hand and having making a word. For example, I could make the word is, which would be 0 points.
Yep.
I could make the word cam, which would be 2 points because cam, like for camera, and I'm using the C and the M. The maximum points that you can use is if you've got 5 cards, use all 5 bottom letters, then not only do you get 5 points for that, but you also get 2 bonus cards from the top of the deck.
Now, we just had a very interesting question, actually, wondering about how do we know whose turn it is? So you'll see in the left, just below the little menu button, there's a little shovel there. If you click that, we're currently in free-for-all mode, but you've just turned on turn-based mode. So now you'll see in the bottom left, you have to end your turn to actually concede it to someone.
Ooh.
It's a nice way to sort of track whose turn it is, and keeps the game a bit more structured.
So Alan, take a turn and take one of the cards, and puts it into your hand. And then you replace one of the cards and flip it over.
And you can click the end turn button, bottom left. There it is. It's my turn. Okay.
So we are all trying to... Most of the vowels are on the top, so if we ever get to
you would do that trick to us, yes. All right. I'm just going to take that. Place it out and turn.
Do you think there's a specific style? I mean, turn-based games are going to be best. Like, you could have real-time games wherein you're shouting things if you've got voice chats and everyone's involved in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we officially recommend that people complement it with Discord or with Skype or Zoom or whatever you have available at your disposal. And I think it sort of just adds that nice interpersonal connection. Because, you know, right now, like, we're all kind of, you can see everyone's hands in real time, and it's like we're in this space together, and like I'm chatting to you and we get to hang out. I think it's nice.
Well, Green, I think Green needs to end the turn.
Yes.
Green needs to click end turn.
Bottom left. There we go.
So I'm going to grab... Yeah, I'll grab that for the L. And yeah, that's a nice little functionality. I don't think that is in Tabletop Simulator. I mean,
it's
not
nice.
everything has to be one or the other. I mean, I do want to reiterate that it's not a competition. Yeah. I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think competition's good. It means if people see a feature they like in the other guy, then we'll just go ahead and do it better. And that's only good for everybody.
Those are fighting words.
No, not fighting words. No. I just think that like competition pushes innovation, which is only a good thing. Now, I can see your hand because we are streaming together.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's... Honestly, when I play this game in real life, because I quite often say, well, you know, you could just keep the hands on the middle of the table. It's a slightly different experience, but...
Do you want to know the crazy thing, actually? Our most popular game, and like you would not guess it, our most popular game on the platform is Secret Hitler, which is a social deduction game. And
because you're missing out all the visual cues there, but you're still getting all the verbal cues.
You're getting the verbal cues, and a lot of people do play it with video chat, and people have a lot of really interesting solutions for how they get around things. For example, when there's the night phase and people have to reveal themselves to other players, there's a lot of trust involved. And if you're not playing with video chat and you can't reveal your role, what you do is everyone who isn't allowed to closes their eyes, and then people who would need to reveal their role, they'll actually wriggle their mouse on the screen so people can see, oh, that yellow is actually fascist, or yellow is a werewolf, which I think people have come up with some really cool solutions to just adapting the games into the digital space, and I think it's really awesome.
Do you think there's ever going to be a solution to slamming your hands onto a card, if you know what I mean? You know, as a method of seeing who kind of clicked there first.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if we try and argue over a card here in Tabletopia, only one of us is going to get it, you know? the game will get.
So actually, it would just come down to who actually clicked first is the person who's able to move it.
Pretty much, yeah. I can't.
It seems.
It's mine.
So let's see if okay, let's see if at this point, let's say you try to click and grab the NB. What happens?
I can't. I'm trying right now. Nothing's happening.
So then that feels like actually a speed game. Like Jungle Speed could totally work.
You know, we just actually had a game come onto Tabletopia called Flesh It Out, which is coming to Kickstarter later this year. And it's a game where
people are taking cards. Stop it, Alan.
Oh no, the cards are being thieved. Oh, goodness. By the way, if you want to take multiple cards from a deck at once, you can. You're on a laptop, so you don't have a mouse wheel, do you?
No, but I can scroll in and out.
Yeah, so if you actually
is it possible to go back, like let's say if Alan was like, okay, sorry, I was just messing around, let's go back to the game.
Yeah.
Is there an undo button?
No undo. It's purely a space that you can mess it up or play properly as much as you want to. So it's just like real life.
Fair enough. I mean, have you considered putting in an undo button?
Yeah, I think I don't know the technical side of it. I know that one of the issues has to do with the fact that recording like snapshots of time for every single game that's being played is just like a big thing that technically we'll have a bit of trouble with. Oh yeah, Cosmos really wants that undo button. Always pick up the whole pack and put it into their hand. I think that will be you, Nikki. Yeah, totally. And we totally get that. We are looking at solutions. I'm not on the technical side of things, so I don't really know how feasible that is, but it's very much been suggested before.
But like, just to, if you could, so just to explain how the word making, if these 5 things were the ones that were there.
Yeah.
Let's say those 5s, then, well, I would, I was really hoping to get that S. So, while I would take the D and then ponder something like an ED, like wired. Or yeah, let's say I've got wired, then I put them down on the table.
Yep.
I can put down multiple things.
You can, yes. You can just hold shift to click multiple things. And, for example, if you need to play a card secretly or face down, you can flip it while it's in your hand before you pop it on the table.
Okay, so if I've got wired, then we see, okay, I've got 2 points for the things, and those go into my personal score pile. Plus, I get 2 because I managed to, come on, come back here. Make a 5-letter word, and oh no, I have some of these cards the right way up and some of them not. But
flip them.
Then those would go into the discard pile. Is there a way to group cards together, or do you need to do that one at a time?
No, so just like how you made a deck in the setup editor, you can also do that the same method here.
Oh, yes. So if I just did that for everything. Oof.
There you go.
But yeah, that's his very quick overview. But
If you're ever stuck about the controls, you'll see in the bottom left of your screen there's a little question mark. Click that, and it'll bring up every single control on Tabletopia, which is a lot.
and you've got royalty-free images, I guess, of
We do, yes.
Marilyn Monroe, Sigmund Freud, and Albert Einstein, because I think you're trying to say that these are people we should aspire to.
I think these are people that, well, if you're playing on Tabletopia, are you not one of these fabulous people?
And Ernesto, is that Che Guevara?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
Some of these people.
Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, thank you for this has been a very extended live stream. It has been incredibly informative. And hopefully I basically come from it from a very much a, oh, I don't know how I'd do that.
Yeah.
And so actually this has been really intuitive, although I should point out I did have you holding my hand the whole way, which most people won't have the advantage of. But I feel like, you know, now I could... I'm not going to say that this is how I would choose to playtest, especially if I'm choosing to do a speed game. For me, it's just going to be faster to generally draw things on a card. It depends what I need to do for a first prototype. Let's say I wanted 48 cards with pairs of letters on them. It would be faster to just take a marker pen and write it on blank cards rather than do any of this digital faff. But I think that's just the way. And for the next step, this feels like a good solid way.
It's a really good way. It's a really good method for blind play testing, prototyping with people that aren't, you know, in the same room as you, or if it's just it's a really cheap and inexpensive way as well. So you don't have to make a bunch of print and plays or you do a bunch of game crafters. You can just send out the link and then people have the game. And yes, Cosmos is right. For those who can't visit relatives at the moment, it's a lovely way to do this. And I agree completely.
So it is probably time for us to say...
Did you have somewhere to be half an hour ago?
Not exactly. I have a meeting at 1 and I would like to potentially shower and get a bite to eat.
Oh, yes. Go get a Jaffle. It'll be good for you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad that you've learned something, Carl.com. And thank you. And I know that when we first chatted about this, there was like a long list of about 14 ideas that we had for different ways that we could go. Talking about, advantages of prototyping, you know, things about the digital space. And certainly this feels like now it might be something that I consider for UK Games, well, for Virtually Expo, I should say. Because, I mean, I would like to finish off, if I take off the screen, but please don't ruin my buy on the right, people. I mean, play with the other cards, do what you want, I don't care, but just leave the buy bit, please. So, to recap, there are other digital options available. Tabletopia is clearly very easy to import a whole bunch of cards in. And if you've made your own card game, then, yeah, do it because it feels like a very easy and simple thing to do. And I really don't like technology, but I managed to do it. So awesome. And yeah, to recap, I don't know what else to recap. Do you have any? Is there any flip table button?
There is not a flip table button, sadly, and that is the one feature we are missing. Do you not have the letter UK shuffle? Do you not have the letter K anywhere in your game?
Yeah, there is. There's one K. It's on an
one
E.
K? Oh my goodness. I can't even see it.
K, V, X, J, Q, and...
Oh, I found it. Thank you. Thank you. It has been pointed out today.
What are you trying to make there?
I'm trying to be lovely.
Aww.
Okay. No one's touched your pie.
And yeah, so thank you everyone. Thank you everyone for being parts of this. Thank you to the Cosmos Games UK peeps. How do I? So thank you, Alan Alton. Thank you, Xade. Thank you, Alex. Andrew January. Call.com. I don't know. Yeah. And of course, Mark. It was lovely to have you. And yeah, it's been lovely. And so if you want to check me out, stuffbybez.bigcartel.com, you can buy my stuff. Twitter.com/stuff as I tell you about stuff. Instagram.com/stuffbybez for pictures. Twitch.tv/stuffbybez for the streaming. Facebook.com/thingsbybez is a thing. And stuffbybez@gmail.com if you wish to email me. And let me actually go to YouTube, and if you are on YouTube or Facebook, you will see all the links in the description. If you're on Twitch, then I am sharing them right now in the comments.
Oh, nice.
And do you have anything left to say before we go? Looking forward to hopes and ambitions. It's over to you for this final section. What are we looking forward to? I am now looking forward to with a little bit more invigoration. Now that, you know, getting this thing up, it's like, wow, that was so easy. And so, like, yeah, if you are going to Virtually Expo and you have your own card game and you've been putting it off, I'm like, wow, I could totally do that for Kitty Cataclysm. I mean, yeah, I feel like confident that So as a free user, am I allowed 2 games? Is that it, or 1 game?
1 game, 2 setups.
Okay. So, now, would it be really... how shoddy of it would it be for me to make 1 game with 2 decks?
You're welcome to.
And just like, you know, one setup happens to be the L deck, one setup happens to be the Kitty Cataclysm deck.
I mean, I don't see any reason that couldn't happen. It wouldn't get published publicly, but certainly as a...
Because you would be like frowning upon it.
Certainly as a prototype space, I don't see any reason that's not possible. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So it is... Let me... So the payments, we never really went into that. So I hit the about button, I guess.
Yeah, about button down the bottom.
And whoops. So we showed it right at the start for players. Basically, if you want to play more games, if you want to play the games that are called premium games, and with premium games, does that mean that the people who decide that, hey, this is a game that people will be willing to pay money for, and then they are basically saying, okay, we are going to reduce the potential audience because we think that there's enough of an audience anyway, and so then we get involved in the revenue sharing. Is that basically how it works?
That's essentially how it works. Yeah. For people, I mean, we find that the best use of Tabletopia for people, smaller publishers or indie publishers, is just like exposure. And I know exposure is not going to pay the bills, but exposure is a way to get people to try your game before they go and buy the game. We have a lot of success with Kickstarters, for example. We had Perseverance, the new David Turksey game, that had 1,200 hours, 1.2k hours of playtime while it was on Kickstarter. So it's a really nice way for people to try out these games. And with premium games, those tend to be games that have a lot of success behind them, and people are fans of them. Wingspan, for example, is one of those games. Terra Mystica is one of those games. So a lot of the bigger, more classic games tend to be premium games.
So, how does the revenue sharing work? Is that something that you go into publicly?
Yeah, it's publicly available. So the revenue sharing works a 70-30 split, 70% towards the publisher. And the way it works is that it's a formula based on the number of hours played of that premium game by people who pay for premium. There's a whole formula. It's free and open information. You can look it up in our knowledge base, but it's essentially a 70-30% split. And yes, some games are free on some setups and some are premium in some setups. So for example, I'll go back to Scythe. It has a 2-player only demo setup with 2 factions locked in. The solo version is premium, and the 2 to 5 player version is premium with other player boards available.
So it gives you a little taste. That's a really nice way to do it.
Yeah.
And and thank you, Javier, for the... I'm really sorry, I completely forgot you, because basically I just went through the Twitch users and kind of... So sorry, Javier, that thank you so much for joining in. And that's a lovely thing to say, Carl.com. Do we know each other, or is this your first exposure to the L deck? I mean, certainly something that I'm pondering. Like, in my meeting in 22 minutes, I'll be chatting about it. Like, so this is... I know there's like a 1 week trial that you can do.
That's right.
When you first sign up, someone goes for advanced or pro, and then they go for a month, and then they're like, okay, I'm not going to want to do this anymore. What happens to the games that they created?
Yeah, certainly. So if you've created a game with the workshop accounts, the paid workshop accounts, the games remain there, but if they are publicly listed, they'll get pulled. The private in the back-end game stays there, but if you want to edit the setups or make any changes to the game, it'll ask you to start paying back up again.
Okay,
so game.
If I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm happy to pay the tenner for the month.
Yeah.
Because it's virtually Expo. That's like a bit of a big deal. But generally, I don't know if Kitty Cataclysm is going to be something that anyone wants to play there. Sure. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm proud of Kitty Cataclysm. This is my game. It's basically very chaotic. There's a lot of cat puns. And it's like a quick party-style game. But that quick party-style game might not be the kind of game that people generally want to play online. Yeah. Because when people are playing games online, although you said Secret Hitler, there's a big community. Who knew?
Really big. It's our biggest game by like a big leap, actually.
For sure. I mean, that is kind of... It's a real cult classic, though, Secret Hitler.
Yeah.
And... I mean, do you find that generally there's a different style of game that's popular online? I mean, oh gosh, this feels like we really should stop it.
Oh no, you have a meeting in 21 minutes.
But like, our party games terrible online compared.
Our party game's terrible online. It really depends on the game, honestly. I mean, and do you mean word games? Do you mean like quick card games? For example, I know that Six Nimp on Board Game Arena is so popular, and it plays so quick and so fast and so well. It's really fun. And there's also, I believe, Sheck Games just made a online version of Codenames. So I haven't tried it myself, but I've been meaning to line up a game of it with people, and it looks really well done, and like they've really put it together well. So I think it's a different experience. I don't think it will recreate the physical experience, but I think it. I think it shouldn't take away from the value it might have. Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a lot for me to ponder. I mean, I should everyone go away. Alex says they'd like to try putting one of their games on there. I think we've sure we can do like a separate thing. If you look up the Tabletopia Twitch, which I think I linked to before. Yeah, it was
somewhere.
Well, it wasn't actually part of
wasn't part of my links list. I'm so sorry.
But it is presumably twitch.com/Tabletopia.
That is correct.
And
oh, look at that! Tabletopia is hosting someone. Oh, stuff by Bez. That sounds fun.
Oh, thank you. So, and it has been lovely to have you, Carl.com. I will definitely, once I've worked out what I'm doing after Virtually Expo, I will make sure that everything's above board, and either, realistically, either do the whole Kitty Cataclysm up there thing. Do I want to get that? Do I not? I don't know. Do I want to kind of lock myself into a kind of the advanced thing? Because it is okay. I am a business, but I'm a single person business. I have to be aware, it's 120, is it US dollars, right?
Yeah,
US dollars. Oh yeah. So I mean, it is quite a bit if I'm thinking, okay, is that going to have a return? So right now I'm thinking probably, I mean, if I'm saying, okay, am I going to sell about 20 extra copies of Kitty Cataclysm by it being on Tabletopia? Would I be selling extra copies of it when I do the Kickstarter by virtue of it being up there? I don't know. These are things to consider. I mean, right now, I'm also in a personally difficult situation because I've sold out. And so maybe right now it doesn't make sense for me to do it. Because, I literally cannot sell it. Maybe it's better for me to, maybe I put it up there and then see, is it popular during UK Games Expo? And so, yeah, it feels like there's a lot for me to do over the next couple of days. And there's a lot for everyone to take in. And thank you so much. And I'm excited to have you on board. And yeah, did you say anything that you're looking forward to? I talked about Virtually Expo.
Oh, what am I looking forward to? Gosh.
Yeah, looking forward to.
Virtually Expo
over to you for this final section.
Ooh, what am I looking forward to? Milan is coming to Disney Plus. I'm really excited to check that out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And anyone else who's looking forward to, please share now or hold your peace. Share, spread the word. My next streams, I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. I have a Google link which is pasted on the top of my Twitter. Tomorrow is it's already definitely Xate's birthday in many countries now. Happy birthday, Xate! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Xate! Happy birthday to you!
Yeah.
Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Hooray!
And tomorrow we're talking with Sai Beppu about art, and Sunday about Digisprite at 10 a.m. UK time, and Lolvi on Monday, and then we've got another Australasian person, MJ from 3 Minutes Board Games on Tuesday.
Awesome.
And so that is the next few days, all at 10 a.m. UK time. It is a daily thing, and so boop, boop, boop. Let me get rid of that. And there is only one thing left to do, which is to say that Xates is looking forward to their online birthday. And bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go.
Bye,
birthday,
bye.
birthday. This is a birthday song. Birthday, birthday. Thank you for watching along.
That's great.
Bye, bye, bye,
Bye,
bye.
bye.
This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye.
Bye.
It's awesome, you know.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.